Hey, y'all, let's cover lesson 27, equations with decimals. Equations containing decimals can be solved just as equations with integers. So we're going to treat it the same way. And being that we're going to be using a calculator, this should not be an issue, okay? As long as you remember your order of operations, that's the huge thing. So let's just go over that just one more time. Well, there'll be many times, I'm assuming. Parentheses first, anything inside of a parenthesis. Exponents are followed by multiplication and division. And when you do those, it has to do with their order from left to right in the equation. And then last is addition and subtraction. Again, it has nothing to do with addition first and then subtraction. It has to do with left to right, how they show up in the equation. Okay, so let's start with solving for x and x minus, so this is just x minus 1.35 is equal to negative 2.6. Solving for x, you have to ask yourself who's attached to x and how. And that is 1.35 attached by subtraction. So we have to do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. We're going to add 1.35 to both sides. If you skip that step and you just go and start putting it in your calculator, this is when I see a lot of people making mistakes because you don't change your sign when you put it in the calculator. So you would put in negative 2.6 minus 1.35. It happens a lot. Be very careful. Instead, we're going to put in negative 2.6 plus 1.35. Also make sure that your answer is negative because the larger number is negative. So if it does not come out negative, something is wrong. 1.25 x equals, and that is my answer. All right, let's get to the next one. Solving for x plus 1.25 is equal to 0.6. 1.25 is attached to x by addition. We need to subtract it from both sides so that we can isolate x. When we do that, x is equal to, and it should be a negative number, 0.6 minus 1.25, and that's negative 0.65. I always put the 0 in front of the decimal point just so that people don't get confused because sometimes the decimal can get lost. So putting a 0 in front of that decimal really makes it stand out that it is, in fact, a decimal answer. All right, solving for x. Who's attached to x and how? Negative 0.35 is attached to x by division. The opposite or inverse of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by negative 0.35. So I'm going to rewrite this real quick. Well, as quick as I'm going to be. And I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 0.35. Negative. When I do that, remember this is over 1, so these reduce, and you're left with x is equal to, and now we just need to multiply 4.2 times negative 0.35. Be careful and do not use your subtraction sign as your negative. Your calculator should have an actual negative button. If you use subtraction, it will be wrong. And make sure your answer is negative on this because the positive times a negative is a negative. That is my answer. All right, solving for x, we've got negative 1.2x is equal to negative 4.08. Negative 1.2 is multiplied to x, so the opposite of multiplication is division. We're going to divide both sides by negative 1.2 to isolate x. X is equal to, negative divided by negative is going to be a positive, so I don't even need to put my negatives in the calculator, but just say that you don't even think that way. You really should, because you should be verifying that the answer you're getting out of the calculator is correct. It can only do what you tell it to do. So 3.4 turned out positive, exactly what I wanted. Woot woot. All right, solving for x, negative 3.8x minus 1.7 is equal to negative 17.28. So when you think of the order of operations, whenever we're actually solving for something, typically we would go, or when we're working an equation, working through an expression, we are going to use order of operations. But if you've noticed, you probably haven't noticed because we've only done one set of movements, but now we're having to do two movements here. Now, do we do our multiplication or division first, or do we do our negative addition subtractions first? Well, when you're solving for x, you work backwards in order of operations. So we have to do the addition and subtraction first. So I'm going to add 1.7 to both sides. And I get negative 3.8x is equal to, it should be a negative, negative 17.28 plus 1.7 is negative 15.58. All right, now we're going to do the division. Negative 3.8 should be a positive. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Negative 15.58 divided by negative 3.8 is 4.1. Fabulous. And that is my answer. Simplify the expression negative 3.2x. Oh, this is simplifying. Okay, so this one is different. This one, oh, the terms are the same. They're like terms because they both have x in them. So we can just combine them. Negative 3.2 plus 1.1 will be a negative 2. What? Oh, it's 1.16. I didn't see that. Let's put that in. Negative 3.2 plus 1.16 is negative 2.04. Don't forget your x. We're not solving for x there. We're just simplifying. The only time you solve for x is when there's this cute little equal sign there. All right. And it would say solve for x. This one says solve for the equation for x. So we have to go through. These two can be combined, and then this one's going to have to move over. So I'm going to move this one over just to get it out of my way. That negative 7.02 minus 4.2 is negative 11.2. Two of them. I thought I saw that. And negative 3.1x, I'm going to just bring this down, plus 2x is negative 1.1x. Dividing, I'm going to verify that, just negative 3.1 plus 2. Just plus 2 is negative. Yep, okay, good. Now we have negative 1.1. We're going to divide both sides by negative 1.1, and x will equal, should be positive. Negative 11.22 divided by negative 1.1 is 10.2. Awesome. All right. Next victim. So pause video and attempt this yourself. You probably should have been doing this all along. In fact, always do that because this is not new stuff. The only thing different is we've got decimals, but you've got your calculator. So treat this as though you're sitting down to work your homework or your test. And for each one of these, as I go through them, do them. Please pause the video, do them yourselves, and then come back and verify that you got the same answer as I did. If not, let's talk. Be right back. Okay, let's solve the equation for x. Negative 6.3x minus 0.4 times x minus 1.2 equals negative 0.86. There's nothing we can do inside the parentheses. So what we have to do is distribute because we have that negative 0.4 on the outside. And that'll be the first thing we have to do is distribute. So that is negative 6.3x minus 0.4x. Now, that was negative 0.4 times x. Now we have to go negative 0.4 times negative 1.2. And that's going to be positive negative 0.4 times negative 1.2. Oh, 2 is 0.48. Is equal to negative 0.86. Okay, what's next? Combining like terms, these two are the same, so we can combine them. Negative 6.3 minus 0.4 equals negative 6.7 x, don't forget your x, plus 0.48 is equal to negative 0.86. We have to subtract 0.48 from both sides. We get negative 6.7x is equal to, it's going to be a negative 0.86 minus 0.48 equals, and that's negative 1.34. Divide both sides by negative 6.7. Our answer should be positive because negative divided by negative is a positive. So negative 1.34 divided by negative 6.7 equals 0.2. Let me know if there's any questions you had on that one. That one was a little bit that was pretty intensive. It was fun. All right, so the next one, we've got these two and these two. There's nothing we can do right now because these are not like terms on each side of the equal sign. So I'm going to move my x's to one side and my constants to the other. We'll move that negative 4.6 to the side, 0.6. We get 3.1x is equal to, I'm just going to bring down the negative 2.2x and then combine those. 2.5 minus 4.6 should be a negative 2.1. All right, now let's move our 2.2x, move our x to the other side by adding it. And we get 5.3x is equal to negative 2.1. And now we have to divide both sides by 5.3. Our answer should be a negative. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, did I do anything wrong? I just want to make sure that we're not doing anything crazy before we're starting this. Oh, no, it says to round the answer to the nearest 10th. So we haven't done anything crazy. So let's write 0.3962, just so that we can have a conversation about rounding, okay? Because up till this time, we have not rounded for this section. So if you're rounding to the nearest 10th, you need to know where your tenths place is. Tenths place is the one just to the right of the decimal. That's our tenths. And that's our rounding digit. Our test digit is always the number directly to the right of the rounding digit. If the test digit is 5 or greater, you add 1 to your rounding digit and everything else is truncated. Remember, that means it goes away. It becomes zeros, and any zero after a decimal that are at the end of the number do not matter anymore. So this is going to become, we're adding 1 to it, so that x is equal to negative 0.4. Sure. Oh, I'm following this. Funny. All right. It's about, it's the equal sign is, it should have like a cute little wiggly sign there, meaning it's not quite, it's rounded. All right. Molly needs to create a rectangular garden plot covering 200 square meters. That means that's area, because we know area is measured in squares. If the width of the plot is 8.9 meters, okay, so I'm going to write this. Area, just so that I know this, is 200 meters squared, and the width is 8.9 meters. And I'm going to need these. Find the length of the plot correct to the nearest tenth of a meter. All right, so I'm going to have to round to the tenths place. So I need to know what the area for a rectangle is. Area for a rectangle is length times width. So if I do that, that means my area is 200. I'm just substituting in what these are. I don't know what my length is. And my width is 8.9. I don't need my meters there. All right. 8.9 is multiplied to L. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I can divide both sides by 8.9. And my length is, definitely has to be positive. Length can never be negative, is 22.4719. 22.4719. I need to round to the tenth place. That's my rounding digit. 7 is my test digit. It is 5 or greater. So I'm going to be adding 1 to my tenth place, getting rid of everything else. 22.5. And then I need a sentence and correct units. 22.5 meters is the length of the garden plot. You only have to write sentences whenever there's word problems. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Children's tickets to the circus go on sale. Oh, we've done these before. Children's tickets to the circus go on sale for $6.75. The Boys and Girls Club of Eureka has $1,000 set aside to purchase these tickets. Approximately how many tickets can the Boys and Girls Club purchase? So we're going to create our definitions, our vocabulary, we're gonna let X equal the number of tickets. Be prepared for something like this on your exam. That'd be a very good chance that would happen. Okay, then we have the price per ticket times the number of tickets is the total money. So the total money is the price per ticket times the number of tickets. All right. So how would we figure that out? Well, children's tickets to the circus go on sale for $6.75. All right, that's the price. So $6.75 is the price. The Boys and Girls Club of Eureka has $1,000 set aside to purchase these tickets. So $1,000 is the total money. Got this equal sign here. Parentheses. And then they want to know how many tickets can they purchase. So we're looking for X. Okay, because we said that X is the number of tickets. So 675 is multiplied to X. The opposite multiplication is division. So we have to divide both sides by 6.75. And that's 148.148. Okay, here's the deal. You can't buy 0.148 or 0.1 of a ticket. You have to buy whole number tickets. All right, it'll never be a negative. It has to be a positive. So can we buy 148 tickets? Can we buy 149 tickets? We don't have enough money to buy 149 tickets. So therefore we have to buy, they can buy 148 tickets. Okay. Martha has 20 feet of decorative fencing, which she will use for the border of a small circular garden. Oh, I gotta draw a picture. Okay, she's got a circle, a circular garden. Fine, and she's got 20 feet of fencing that she's going to use for the border. So she wants to put fencing all the way around. Okay. Find the diameter of the circular garden, correct to the nearest hundredth of a foot. Okay, so the distance from one point on a circle all the way around to the next one, to the same one, is the circumference. Circumference, if I say it out, is C is equal to pi times, I've given you two equations for this. I gave you 2 pi r if you're given the radius, and I gave you pi times the diameter if you're given the diameter. Well, we weren't given the diameter, but we can use this formula to find the diameter. So we have the circumference, it's 20 feet. There's pi times d. So we just have to divide both sides by pi to find what the diameter is. In this case, they want us to use pi is equivalent to 3.14. Typically, I would tell you to use your pi on your calculator. We all have one. For mine, I would have to hit second and then the caret key because it's right there. If you have a TI-30X2S, it's going to be over here somewhere. You would have to find it. But let's go with 3.14. So I'm going to go 20 divided by 3.14. And that is equal to 6.369. And they want us to round to the nearest hundredth of a foot. So 10th place, 100th place, that's my rounding digit. The number to the right is my test digit. It is greater than 5. I'm going to add 1 to my 6. My diameter is 6.37. And then what's my units? Feet. And that is the answer. And I think that is it for 27. I'll get y'all 28 out and y'all have a great day. Let me know what questions you have.